7:30 start time for the ceremony honoring Alan Trammell and retiring his number 3 for all time. And we'll carry it for you here on Fox Sports Detroit. And lots of folks will be here in attendance to see it live for themselves. Well, he was more of a basketball player than a baseball player back in the day when he was a kid. But Alan Trammell has said that baseball was always his first love. And he was in a class in high school in suburban San Diego when a teacher came and passed him a note saying that he had been selected in the second round by the Detroit Tigers. By the end of the next season, he was in their starting lineup in the second game of a doubleheader at Fenway Park, and a Hall of Fame career was underway. Of course, the best days were in the mid-'80s. With all that success as a player and within a very special team.
You look back into '83, and we came in second. We were close. We were close.
No one understands. They all think I'm a lucky man.
And I was there, and I had a hard time believing, 35-5. I mean, that's incredible. And we were confident. Again, we had the great start. We were in first place the whole year. In our minds, it was our year, and we weren't going to be beaten.
We have an opportunity to play in front of thousands of fans each day who love baseball just as much as we did. And it's nothing better than winning for your fans, because that's really why you're there.
I think we all, as youngsters, we dream about certain things. Going back to Game 4, Lou gets on, I hit a home run. We're up 2-0. And then the third inning, Lou gets on again, and I hit another 2-run homer. And that ends up being really the difference in the game. We went 4-2. There's so many moments that year that just went our way, and that was just one more.
Everybody relied on him as being our best player. For him to do that and, be, in such a pressure situation and to come through like he did was almost like, okay, well, that's Trammell.
First and second, Goose Gossage was pitching. Sparky asked me to bunt, no problem. I got it down. It wasn't a picture-perfect bunt, but I did my job. So they were second and third with 1 out, and Gibby comes up. He hits a laser into the upper deck in right field, and that was a 3-run homer. And basically at that time, it was the 8th inning. He was clinched the game. In our minds, okay, we're not going to have to go back to San Diego. We're going to do it at home. And that's exactly what happened.
Alan, yesterday's ball game, that had to be the thrill of a lifetime. The 2 2-run homers, the 4 RBIs.
There's no question, but this is even special right here. This is what it's all about. We're going to get that ring. This is the most important day of my life. I'm going to celebrate.
3 balls, a strike to Trammell. Line drive left field. This is gone. A home run for Alan Trammell.
87 was my best year statistically. Going into the season, we had lost our cleanup hitter, Lance Parrish. Sparky, the way he liked to construct his lineup, he used to like to go left, right, left, right. He decided to switch me from second to fourth. And when he said that to me in spring training, I thought, I was shaking my head to myself thinking, this guy's crazy.
Sparky used to always ask us, can you take it? We say, take what? He'd just say, can you take it? And that's one of those can you take it moments. And, he went in, can Tram take it and clean up in the lineup? Yeah, he can. Well, how good did he do? Well, look at the numbers.
The home runs, the RBIs, he hit for a great average that year. And you never again expected it out of that body. He was clearly MVP, but Bell had simply obtained too much of a lead too early.
There's a photo that I have. You see Lou pulling second base out of the ground. Lou was just saying, Tram, you're the MVP. I don't care what happens. I don't know what's going to happen, but you're the MVP. So to me, that was a very special moment. He signed the bag. He said, to our MVP, Tram, and he presented it to me. I have that to this day.
And we just play together, it's a baseball game, like right now it's more than baseball. But when you're out there on the field, it's a game. It's like playing in the park. And the only thing Trammell and I had to do was just go out and play.
somewhere along the line you get paired up with somebody, and it's just one of those once-in-a-lifetime deals, I guess. Tram and Lou got put together, and magic.
There was a couple of opportunities, and Lou and I actually got to a point, I don't know exactly what year, we both talked about this, about, we've played together, we played with one organization our whole time. It would be nice if we could continue, if we could both look at the back of our baseball card when it's all said and done, and see one team. And, lo and behold, it happened.
Back in 2001, Bill James' historical baseball abstract had declared Tramm to be the 9th best shortstop of all time, with better analytics at the time than 14 shortstops that were already in the Hall of Fame. 17 years later, he arrived there, eventually. And oh, he was a Chevrolet most dependable player. 20 years as a Tiger, 6 times an All-Star, with the 4 Gold Gloves, and the World Series MVP, and all of Detroit is about to say thank you. Back to the Call Sam studio as we continue to celebrate number 3 on a Sunday afternoon downtown. Tigers Live on Tram Day is presented to you by Chevrolet. It's Chevy Truck Month. Bring on the new and hand down the old. Chevrolet, find new roads. Tigers will play the White Sox just after 1 o'clock, but there is work to be done before we get you there, and we welcome you back to the Call Sam studio via the Call Sam cam. And this was important stuff at the time. It was Ernie Harwell on the transistor radio under a pillow. It was Tiger Stadium, that old battleship of a ballpark. It was Sparky Anderson with that smile as he always sort of looked down at the grass. It was the Old English D worn never prouder than by one Alan Trammell. Our Matt Shepard was moved to write a note to Tramm.
How do you tell a player they meant everything to you and your city? How do you tell that player you miss them? Alan Trammell was born in San Diego, but he's all Detroit. He may have been raised in California, but he grew up in the Motor City. We identified with your quiet superstardom because of your hard work, your humility, and your strive for greatness.
We're going to get that ring. This is the most important day of my life. I'm going to celebrate.
For so many kids and adults, you were our hero, our idol. You did not disappoint on or off the field. As a man, you were the same as you were a player, first class. Tramm, you may have been just inducted into baseball's Hall of Fame, but we've always recognized your greatness. How do you tell a player they meant everything to you and your city? By saying thank you. Thank you for 20 years of excellence. Thank you for being an inspiration. Today, we say thank you.
And what a crowd that has gathered to do just that, Shep, to say thank you. It's never been truer that good things happen to good people. Tramm now joins Jack and Sparky and the other Tiger greats for all time.
Good afternoon, Tigers fans, and welcome to today's special pregame ceremony presented by Strategic Staffing Solutions. Today, we honor one of the greatest players in Tigers history, Hall of Fame shortstop Alan Trammell, with the official retirement of his number 3. At this time, we ask that you turn your attention to the video board as we look back at the Detroit Tigers, who have already received the highest honor a franchise can bestow upon a player.
He ranked as baseball's all-time hits leader for the better part of the last century. And though Ty Cobb's name is rightfully displayed on the brick wall here at Comerica Park, there's a very good reason his number is not. He didn't have one. Cobb's career ended in 1928 before players regularly began wearing numbers. In fact, it wouldn't be until 1980 when the Tigers retired their first number, Al Kaline's number 6. Hall of Fame right fielder played 22 seasons in Detroit, setting franchise records in career games and home runs. He joins Cobb as the only 2 Tigers to record 3,000 hits. He also memorably helped lead the Tigers to the 1968 World Series championship. 2 more Hall of Famers saw their numbers retired on the same day in 1983. Charlie Gehringer's number 2 and Hank Greenberg's number 5. Gehringer played 19 seasons in Detroit, finishing with a lifetime batting average of .320. In 1935, he hit .375 in the World Series to help pave the way to the Tigers' first championship. 2 years later, he was named the American League MVP. Greenberg played 12 seasons as a Tiger, ranking as one of the great power hitters of the game's first half-century. The first baseman won MVP awards in 1935 and 1940, while also setting a franchise record for home runs with 58 in 1938. He helped the Tigers to World Series titles in 1935, and then again a decade later in 1945. In 1997, Hal Newhouser's number 16 joined the ranks. The Hall of Famer is the only pitcher in Major League history to win back-to-back MVP awards, earning the honor in 1944 and again in 1945. Newhouser pitched 15 seasons in Detroit, highlighted by his 2 wins in the Tigers' 7-game World Series triumph in 1945. In 2000, outfielder Willie Horton saw his number retired. Horton played 15 seasons in Detroit, hitting a team-high 36 home runs for the 1968 World Series champions. Graduate of Detroit's Northwestern High School, his many contributions to his community have only cemented his status as a true hometown hero. In 2011, Sparky Anderson's number 11 was retired posthumously. Sparky won a franchise record 1,331 games in 17 seasons in Detroit. And of course, he led the Tigers to the 1984 World Series championship, thanks in part to the efforts of this year's honorees. Jack Morris's number 47 was added to the wall just 2 weeks ago, following his induction into the National Baseball Hall of Fame. He was joined every step of the way by an old friend and a teammate who wore the number 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the radio play-by-play voice of the Detroit Tigers and Master of Ceremonies, Dan Dickerson.
Thank you, Bob. Thanks to all of you for being here on this special day. 4 weeks ago, Alan Trammell was officially inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame in recognition of an amazing career that spanned 2 decades, all right here in Detroit. Today, we celebrate Alan Trammell's 20 years as a Tiger and the special place he holds in the hearts of Tigers fans everywhere. As we get started, I'd like to welcome several special guests who are seated on the field today. The Tigers team trainer from 1980 to 1994, including the 84 World Series championship, Pio DeSalvo. The Tigers trainer from 1991 to 2002, please welcome Russ Miller. Now in his 41st season with the Tigers, he saw Alan Trammell go from teenager to Hall of Famer. Clubhouse manager, Jim Smakel. He spent parts of 3 seasons in the big leagues, including 1986 as a Tiger. He's currently the Tigers' minor league hitting coordinator, Mr. Bruce Fields. He served several stints as a Tigers bullpen and pitching coach. What a job he did in those 4 consecutive division championships as the hitting coach for the Detroit Tigers, the pitching coach for the Detroit Tigers. Pitching coach, Jeff Jones. He played for Alan Trammell from 2003 to 2005. In total, spent 13 years in the major leagues, including an all-star appearance in 2009.
Brandon Inge. Another former Tiger who played under Trammell, also went on to be a key member of the 2006 American League champions. Now an analyst with Fox Sports Detroit, Craig Monroe. He played 8 seasons in the major leagues, including 5 here in Detroit from 1979 to 1983. Outfielder Lynn Jones. He pitched 3 years in the major leagues, 1982 and 1983 with the Tigers. Pitcher Larry Pashnick. A veteran of 5 big league seasons, including 4 in Detroit from 1987 to 1990. Outfielder Scott Lusader. We all remember that complete game shutout on the final day of the season in 1987 that clinched the division. A veteran of 21 years in the major leagues, Frank Tanana. Another lefty who had a great career, 21 years in the big leagues. He was a Tigers All-Star in 1995, David Wells. Our next guest was a teammate of Alan Trammell's on that terrific '84 championship team. Pitched 8 of 10 major league seasons here in Detroit, Dave Rozema. One of the premier catchers of his era. 8 All-Star appearances, 6 Silver Slugger awards, 3 Gold Gloves, the big wheel, Lance Parrish. Winner of 119 games in a Tigers uniform, a member of that 1976 draft class that brought the Tigers Alan Trammell and Jack Morris. Please welcome Dan Petrie. And an extremely valuable piece, a versatile infielder on those 80s Tigers teams, including the '84 champions, third baseman Tom Brookins. And please give a special welcome today to Alan Trammell's family members who are with us. Alan's wife, Barbara, his sons, Lance and Kyle, and his daughter, Jade. Thank you so much for being here today. I'd also like to welcome the honored guest we have on the stage with us here today. The president and CEO of Ilitch Holdings, the chairman and CEO of the Detroit Tigers, Christopher Ilitch. Now in his 27th season working in professional baseball, his 3rd as the Executive Vice President of Baseball Operations and General Manager of the Detroit Tigers, Al Avila. He was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1980, following a career in which he won a batting title at the age of 20, earned 10 Gold Gloves, collected over 3,000 hits, helping the Tigers to a World Championship in 1968. No player has worn a Tigers uniform in more games. His number 6 can be viewed on that Comerica Park wall. Please welcome Mr. Tiger, Al Kaline. His number 47 was just added to the Comerica Park brick wall. Alan Trammell's Hall of Fame classmate, a World Series hero, Tigers legend, Jack Morris. He played 12 seasons in Detroit, including 1984, when he earned MVP honors in the American League Championship Series, before going on to hit 2 home runs in the clinching Game 5 of the World Series. Kirk Gibson. And finally, a man so intertwined with his double play partner, you can't say one name without thinking of the other. A 5-time All-Star, a 3-time Gold Glove winner, a 4-time Silver Slugger winner, 1/2 of the greatest double play combination in Major League history, Sweet Lou Whitaker. And now we ask you please turn your attention to the video board as we pay tribute to a recently inducted Baseball Hall of Famer and one of the greatest players in Tigers history. watch somebody play shortstop, watch Alan Trammell. He did the things that you're supposed to. Everything was about the team. And that's one of the great strengths that Alan Trammell always had. He always thought about the English D ahead of the name on the back of the shirt. And that's why he's a Hall of Famer. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the field Hall of Famer number 3, Alan Trammell. Our first speaker was so inspired by the 2 home runs that Alan Trammell hit in Game 4 of the 1984 World Series, he went out and did it himself 1 game later. A force of nature on those Tigers teams of the 80s, He now shares the wisdom of those years with viewers of Tigers game broadcasts on Fox Sports Detroit. Please welcome one of Major League Baseball's true postseason legends, Mr. Kirk Gibson. Thank you. It is truly an honor to stand up here today representing every single person Alan Stewart Trammell ever came into contact with, and also the people he influenced in many other very unique ways. Since Tram got the call informing him he was in the Hall, he tells me it has been an incredible ride. I know we would all agree that Tram deserves every bit of recognition that he's got. Knowing him as well as I do, guaranteed he's being really humble right now. And he's always cautious not to bask in the spotlight too long. And I bet he gets up here and gives his teammates much of the credit, because that's the kind of selfless person and player he has always been. Beyond the numbers, Tram always did what was best for the team. I first met him in 1978 in a pre-draft workout at Tiger Stadium, where he offered for me to use his wood bat because I was a college guy using a metal bat. Years later, we were teammates. I think the reason we became friends so quickly, that under that wiry frame Tram had was a very fierce competitor. Talk, it never gets old after a win. He would bellow. It never gets old. Didn't matter whether it was a baseball game on the baseball diamond. It just didn't matter. He wanted to win, and he required us to want that same will. I think him in the '84 series in Game 4 just as you do. But more impressive to me was in '87 when we lost Lance. He was asked to hit fourth. He responded by having his best year ever, hitting .343, 20 home runs, 20 steals, .550 slugging percentage. He was the first person to do that since fellow Hall of Famer Willie Mays did it in 1958. His competitiveness made us a better team. He was so reliable. Strictly business, he would always say. He played some 1,918 games as half of the best double play combination in baseball history. And I think we can all agree Lou Whitaker's plaque should be hanging next to Tram's in Cooperstown someday. Tram was not only a great ball player, he was a great friend. He's really a funny guy, actually. He's always ready with that perfect comment or that little dig to get under your skin. He was always honest, too, except for when it was his turn to admit he was wrong. One of the most loyal people I've ever met in my life. We've been teammates, friends, fellow coaches, and when things are going bad, he'll never jump ship on the team. Such a team man. Tram, you spent countless hours talking baseball for the good of the game. You're a true student of the game and a baseball lifer. And now, deservedly a Hall of Famer with your number being retired today. I remember when Sparky told us we were here to be world champions, but it would mean nothing unless we did it the right way. Tram, you have taught us how to do it the right way. I talked to some of his teammates, and they all told me about how Tram had such attention to detail. Another couple told me to keep it clean. Remember, it's his day, so you're going to be lucky today. I'll keep it clean. Couple words to describe Tram. Loop Patrol, Fiddler, Road Wife, Dirk, Instigator. One more, All-Star, MVP, world champ, and now Hall of Famer. All of us, friends, family, and fans, couldn't be more thrilled for you. And I've got to say, having your plaque hanging in Cooperstown and your number 3 on the wall here at Comerica Park for future generations of fans to admire, that's something that will never get old. Thanks, Gibby. We'll hear from another one of your 84 teammates in a moment. At this time, we ask you please turn your attention to the video board as some familiar faces from around the world of baseball share their congratulations for Alan Trammell.
They say Babe Ruth was number 3, but Alan Trammell's number 3 to me. So congratulations, man, on having your number retired. It was a pleasure playing beside you on the left side of the infield. You know, even though I covered most of the ground. Thank you.
You know what you mean to me. You're one of my best friends. Congratulations on a great career and well-deserved. You have been an inspiration to all Tiger people, and now you're going to be an inspiration to all those that are in the Hall of Fame.
As part of the committee that helped select you into the Hall of Fame, and now all the things that are happening afterwards, it couldn't happen to a better guy.
No greater honor could go to no better human being, and I'm extremely proud of you, and I'm extremely proud to say that I played alongside you.
Hey, Alan, congratulations. I hear they're retiring your number. Very well deserved. I got a seat saved for you here at the Hall.
I've always said you're one of the greatest players I ever played against. Not only could you hit, you could field. Your determination, everything about you as a ball player was fantastic. I just wish you were on my team.
I know one thing, a couple weeks ago, the Hall of Fame became a better place when you and Jack Morris were rightfully inducted. You deserved it. You've been a great tribute to baseball. You've been a great tribute to the Tigers.
Just want to say congratulations on your induction to the Hall of Fame. Well deserved. And getting your uniform number retired today. Also well earned. I sure did love competing against you and those Tiger teams, especially in 1984. Enjoy the day.
If there was anybody that I could ever point to that I knew was going to make the Hall of Fame and deserved to be in the Hall of Fame, it was you.
You just made the Hall of Fame better. One of the best players I've ever seen at shortstop.
It's long overdue, and I couldn't be happier for you. Thanks for all that you've done in my career as well. Thanks for everything you did for this franchise. I'm proud to wear the Old English D because of players like you.
I watch you work with the kids in the minor leagues, and whether they're a prospect or not, you're out there every day giving it your all. Whether the kid has a chance to play in the big leagues or not, you're out there working with him. That's pretty good. You get a Hall of Fame shortstop working with a kid that's probably not going to get out of A-ball. That's pretty impressive. You've been a great guy. Once again, a great tribute to the game, a great tribute to the Tigers. Congratulations on your special day.
You sure have come a long way since that draft back in 1976 and our first spring training together in 1977 where we roomed together on the second floor up at Fetzer Hall. You know, you're a Hall of Fame baseball player, but you're an even better human being, teammate, and friend. Congratulations on all your accomplishments.
$1,918. That's the number of games Alan Trammell played alongside our next speaker. By far, the most ever for a double play combination. They turned 751 double plays together. As we honor the shortstop of that combo, I don't think Tram would mind if we take a second to mention that his partner ranks as one of the greatest second basemen in the history of the game by nearly every statistical measure. He's a 5-time All-Star, 3-time Gold Glove winner, a 4-time Silver Slugger winner. Please welcome number 1, Lou Whitaker.
I've got a couple autographs I want Tram to sign for me and himself, so that will stay with me forever. First this morning, we want to thank everyone for coming out to support Mr. Alan Trammell, one of the Detroit Tigers' greatest players that played in my generation. Yeah, Mr. K-Line, he was in his, so he will always be Mr. Tiger to all of us. And of course, I'm going to mention Willie Horton too, because he's done so much to this city and to the team. There's another one here. We want to show some respect for Miss Aretha Franklin, Detroit all-time legend here in Detroit and around the world. But today, we're here to recognize best short in Detroit Tiger history, number 3, Alan Trammell. I had the privilege to play with Tram side by side for 19 years. And it was 19 of the best years of my baseball career. It's an honor to be here speaking and giving recognition to this fine, upstanding, all-American shortstop. You, the fans, and around the league, had the privilege to watch Tram's performance day in and day out, and I know that you were enjoyed the most momentous days in baseball history played here in Detroit. I'm sure, Tram, all your family and friends here today and in San Diego are as proud of you as we are today. So, Tram, all my people of NASCAR country in Martinsville, Virginia, and Henry County think you are the best shortstop that ever played. So now we're just going to give it to Trammell and let him share his tears here with you today. Trammell.
You can find out a lot about someone's character in tough times. For the Detroit Tigers and their fans, 2003 would certainly qualify. It was Alan Trammell's first year as Tigers manager.